everyone. I'm Luis Cruz, Community and Public Relations Director at the San Diego Union Tribune. Welcome to today's San Diego Business Connection Seminar, where we help connect our local businesses to our community. Today, we're going to be talking about the latest trends in flooring. Now, choosing the best flooring for your home and lifestyle is far more complicated than just finding the best looking product. There are a number of other factors you need to consider. For example, environment, durability, cost. These are just some of the things you'll want to take into consideration. Fortunately, we have the experts from Kohl's Fine Flooring joining us today to break it all down for us. Kohl's is San Diego's premier flooring and kitchen and bath remodeling destination, serving the San Diego community for over 70 years. Let's meet our panelists. Today, we are joined by Lauren Coles. Lauren is the sales manager for the San Diego, Santee, and military locations. And also joining us is Jeremy Fratt. Jeremy is the sales manager for the San Marcos and Solana Beach locations. Thank you very much to both of you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us. We're very excited. As you mentioned, there's a lot of variables that go into a home improvement project. Obviously, buying a home is pretty much the largest investment you're going to make, and then flooring and construction projects in between. So Jeremy and I are here today to help kind of go through the aesthetics of what's trending, what to do in terms of what's best for your home and environment. So we are excited to present some fun material.
Great. I do want to remind our viewers that this is an interactive webinar. So after Lauren and Jeremy's presentation, we'll give you an opportunity to ask them some questions. And please type your questions in the Q&A field, not the chat box on the lower right-hand portion of the toolbar. We ask that you use the Q&A field because it will make it easier for us to keep track of all your questions. Also, please limit your questions to those related to flooring or remodeling. I will now hand it over to Lauren and Jeremy, and I'll be back to help with the Q&A. Lauren, Jeremy, it's all yours.
Thank you. You want me to start, Lauren?
Yes, please. And then I know we're going to kind of give a cue to next slide. So take it away, Jeremy.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Happy to be here and go through some of the latest trends in floor covering. We're going to bounce around a little bit and kind of cover the main surfaces of floor covering and kind of what's popular and some of the benefits and features of each of those surfaces. So if we can go to the next slide. Hard surfaces are extremely popular right now in floor covering. For many years, we would see people recarpeting their house, throughout their house, up the stairs, hallways, bedrooms. A lot more hard surface being used these days throughout multiple areas of the homes. A little bit more durable, a lot easier to clean, wipe things up, a little bit easier to maintain. A lot of benefits to hard surface flooring. So we're going to go through some of that and tell you some of the trending things in each surface. We can go to the next slide. So probably the fastest growing surface right now in floor covering is luxury vinyl plank. It's a very long lasting, cost effective surface that we're using in floor covering. They're very textured surfaces that really emulate real hardwood, ceramic, and marble tiles. You can feel the grain, you can feel the knots, you can feel some of the texture that's in these products. As they continue to improve, the visuals are getting better. We're seeing better looks, better textures, a lot easier to feel them, and much improved than when they first came out a few years ago. They're also making them wider and longer. When they first came out, they were more narrow planks, 3 inches, 5 inches wide. We're now seeing stuff up to 9 inches wide and as long as about 6 feet long in some cases. And they even have patterns to them too. We're starting to see some herringbone patterns and some chevron patterns so that you don't have just a straight plank visual. You can be a little more decorative, do a little more custom work with these, and create a little more of a design if you'd like to do something in that type of a field. Next slide, please. Some of the benefits of vinyl plank or vinyl tile is they're a little bit more affordable and a lot easier to install. These products don't require any adhesive. When you're installing them, they literally just click together and snap together. So a lot easier for those of us that would like to try to do it ourselves for a home project. Much easier to maintain. Regular vacuuming, dry mopping, and sweeping is the best way to clean these floors. In fact, the only time you really need to use any spray-on cleaner is if you spill something that's get a little sticky and stuck to the floor. That's the best way to clean those off. Because these are a floating floor, they're not glued down to the concrete or plywood subfloor. They're a lot softer to stand on. So if you're somebody that spends a lot of time in the kitchen throughout the day or spends a lot of time standing somewhere, these are a lot softer underfoot. The majority of these products have an attached pad on the back to make them a little bit softer. Or the products that don't come with the attached pad, we can always put one underneath to make it a little softer as well. And then probably the biggest benefit that we've heard from these vinyl plank and vinyl tiles is the fact that they are waterproof to spills. For many years, we would be doing wood and laminate. We'd be running it through areas of the house. We'd have to stop when we got to a kitchen, stop when we got to a bathroom or a laundry room. Because they're such high moisture areas, we'd have to then switch and put in some kind of a vinyl material or some kind of a tile material. Now, because these floors are waterproof, we can continue that right through into these areas and kind of keep in a nice flow throughout the home of those floors because the water doesn't affect them. And then the next slide, Lauren would like to talk about some hardwood.
Yes, and then moving back to hardwood, again, with hard surface kind of making its way into all aspects of the home. While LVP offers a great hard surface option for beating a price point, having that waterproof, very kid and pet friendly, there is one thing about wood though, is you can't beat natural hardwood. Coming from the actual lumber, whether it's an oak, a maple, a hickory, into your Brazilian cherries, each of that is unique and special to the batch you're gonna get. So it truly is a natural product where you're going to appreciate the graining, the knots, and every single bit of that wood curated product that you will have in your home, which is absolutely beautiful. Again, being a natural product, they definitely add warmth, even though it is a hard surface. You can pair it with all different aspects and coordinate with cabinets. You can coordinate with your furniture. And again, it is easy care and cleaning. Is similar to what Jeremy was saying about wet mopping, dry mopping, vacuuming. Wood's just about the same. I mean, your normal cleaning routine, consistent vacuuming, a mop. We always recommend just a Bona kind of spray. It's a really easy on the material, so it won't damage anything. And then too, you can kind of go into, if you have an oil wood, and this is the nice thing about wood too, is if you do get a blemish or a scratch, you can come in and easily buff that out and then rework it so those blemishes will fade into the product. Wood also adds value to your home. So if you're gonna go back into resell into the market, a big key is being able to say that you have true hardwood floors. That is definitely a big aspect that people look into when purchasing a home. And it's something that, aside from carpet or laminate or vinyl, it just takes your home for resale value up an extra notch. Definitely proven durability. I will say I always like to share this story with my clients. Is in my family home, we have had the same oak flooring for probably 25 years. And that even included my brother and I growing up, running through the house from the pool, you know, dogs growing up, and we still have that floor down today. And aside from a few blemishes, it looks great, and we don't plan on changing it anytime soon. So again, on that last point, as long as you take care of it, wood is an excellent option, even if you do have kids and pets. But that's where designers can kind of help and pick more characteristics and more. In the picture, you can kind of see it too, more knots, more colors, more variation. All of that will help hide little blemishes rather than going with a very monotonous color. So that we can kind of go into detail more as well when we look at the samples. So we can go to the next slide on that one. So again, durable, easy to repair finishes. It's great because, like I said, if you do get a scratch, which, let's be real, any flooring is pretty much susceptible to a scratch if you have, you know, a heavy piece of furniture with a nail on it and you drag it through. But that's where wood as a natural product does, in my opinion, beat perhaps a synthetic product such as a laminate or an LVP, is you can really get in there and buff out the wood and then use a stain and come through so it look as good as new. And like I said, especially in San Diego, it's fun because you have all the craftsman homes that still have the wood and the parquet from the 20s and 30s, and you want to maintain that look to go along with the timelessness of the home. Wood truly can last up to 100 years. And the other fun part is too, is if you want to add on to a room and keep the existing original wood floor, then we can even get into that category of finding an unfinished wood at a similar width and lace it in to kind of maintain the characteristic and have a more custom look that can still fit a reasonable price point. And funny enough, wood does, because it's a natural product, it does retain heat a bit more, where LVP does a great job of that too, kind of having the sound insulation and warmth insulation, but wood does offer that as well. So it is a nice surface to walk on without having that cold feeling under your feet, even in our 60-degree winters in San Diego where you want to put on your slippers. It does still add a little bit of a nice change. And again, to touch on, since it is a natural floor, you will have character. So the sample is a great representation of what to expect when you receive your wood. But do know the trees grow, they chop them down, they create the wood. Each lumber and each batch that we get is a tad bit different, but that's what makes it unique. Whereas LVPs and laminates do a really good job at having a wide range of images, but since it is an image placed on a hard surface, being a manufactured product, eventually you would hit a repeat. You would never really notice, but with wood, you truly get that unique natural installation. And again, similar to LVP, very easy maintenance, vacuum, mop, very simple. Again, increases value of your home. And we have so many selections of colors, grains. You can do anything you want, from a classic oak to your kind of exotic series with your acacias, your cherries, your tiger woods. We even have some whitewashed, really pretty oaks that actually use car paint to kind of get a metallic look to it. If you want to kind of step outside the box, anything from, you know, the narrow, as I said, 2 1/4 to 3 inch to match the craftsman look, all the way up to a 10 inch, even greater wide plank to accommodate basically any dream that you can find on Pinterest to achieve. So with that, we can go to the next one.
So tile and stone. Tile and stone been around for a very long time, of course, and probably the most durable surface that we can use in floor covering. It's very difficult to scratch tile or stone. You can drop something on it and typically don't harm it most of the time. Very easy to maintain, things to just wipe right up. Even the grout these days is a lot easier to maintain than it used to be. And you've got a lot of different sizes, a lot of different patterns, a lot of different colors and choices that are available in tile and stone. A wonderful floor here in San Diego. In summertime, it keeps the houses cooler, much nicer to keep that temperature down. And then you can use it just about in any space. We're seeing just as much tile being used in vertical spaces and surfaces right now as we are down on the floor. And there's a lot of benefits to tile and stone. If we can go to the next slide. Very resistant to water, which is why we've seen it in moisture areas throughout many, many years. You can spill things on it, and your porcelain and ceramics are not porous at all, so they don't absorb any of that moisture. So it's a lot easier to wipe up. And then with natural stone, we just seal that surface, and those surfaces don't absorb as much as well either. A lot easier to clean, and you don't have to use a lot of stringent cleaning materials. You can simply just use water to clean your tile and stone. You don't have to use any chemicals. Very protective layer on the surface. They have some slip resistant surfaces that are easier for bathrooms because of the steam and the humidity that's in there. You want something that has a little more grip, a little more texture to it. Definitely increases the value of your home. And it's a surface on a flooring that we typically, once we put down, you don't remove it for a very long time. Tile is a very long lasting floor. Don't typically go into jobs where we pull up a lot of tile. We're definitely, it's definitely a floor that lasts very many years. And then there's no organic compounds that we have to be concerned with. In some other flooring, we always have to make sure that they're certified to not have any added formaldehyde or any other toxins that we're looking for. We don't have to worry about that with tile and stone. So those are some of the positive things. At the end here, we'll show you some samples and some ideas of some of these patterns and styles and different textures. Next slide.
Okay, this is my favorite. This is definitely not me getting way overexcited and faking it. I love carpet. Carpet is my favorite flooring. If I could recommend anyone to put carpet in the majority of their home, I would. It is a great options, as it says on the slide, for bedrooms where a little bit of more of that warmth and cozy feel is. But in my personal opinion, if I was building my dream home tomorrow, I would put carpet on the stairs, in the bedrooms, in the halls, in the living room, in the family room, pretty much anywhere except there isn't, where obviously a kitchen, a bathroom. Glad people don't do that anymore. Any high moisture areas, but carpet is a phenomenal product. And I want to touch on this because there's so many of those DIY HGTV shows now that say, you know, ooh, pull out the carpet, we're going to put down hard surface, which, as we've mentioned thus far, hard surface is a phenomenal product and fits a lot of needs. And there's definitely a good reason why a lot of people are putting it in the majority of their home. But that's not to limit where carpet is coming from. Carpet has come such a long ways in terms of the performance. We are a Stainmaster flooring center, which is the toughest carpet system on the market. The same nylon that is used in the carpet is the same nylon that they make seatbelts with and parachutes and so many different things that, I mean, you would obviously, you put a seatbelt on every day, and that tough fiber is the same fiber that's used in your carpet. So with that said, our Stainmaster warranties have 25-year lifetime warranties. You can spill wine, you can have the pet accident, you can have the muddy feet coming in from a soccer game. It covers absolutely everything because that is how much faith that they have in the product. So you can rest assured that if you put it on the stairs, which are a very narrow, high traffic area where you're getting that condensed foot traffic, that it'll look great for 20 years. That you can put it in the living room where the sodas and the popcorn for movie night is being had. So I can't stress enough, especially with the fun patterns and colors. I get excited every single time a new product is released of what they have to offer. And that's just on the synthetic end. Then we have wool, which is a sustainably, naturally produced carpet that actually helps with allergies. It's extremely environmentally friendly, and it definitely offers the most green, eco-friendly product that you could put in your home. And it can withstand heavy foot traffic. Like I said, as long as you choose, depending upon the carpet, maybe we don't all want to put shag out throughout our house, but if we go with the correct carpet, it can withstand, like I said, very heavy foot traffic on stairs. So that carpet will be looking new for decades and decades. We still have clients come in saying, our carpet is 30 years old from Kohl's. We're on a second round. It looks great, but we want to change with the times and maybe pick a color that's a bit more up to date. So, and that happens on a regular basis. So with that said, we can go to the next slide. And to more benefits, the amount of research and development that the carpet manufacturers put into their products lines are unbelievable. They bring in designers that truly, I've been to a few mills where they bring in, I mean, they'll have bark from wood, from trees, to rocks, to different fabrics, to a pair of jeans, and they get together on these design teams and they bring together all of the hottest new textures, colors, patterns. They bring traditional prints into a more transitional phase to basically create a really fun product that isn't like the carpet that you think of in the 1970s. So whether that's putting a really fun, which is one of my favorite things to do, put a pattern on the staircase. It's one of the few places in a home where you're not competing with fabrics of the bedspreads, wall coverings, furniture. It gives you an opportunity to really have a pop in your home and then have that wow factor when people come in. And then you can kind of transition to a more, what's popular now, taupey gray, a really nice kind of sandy flecked plush that then is going to feel nice and cozy underfoot, but then we'll also be able to, you know, go with your fun couch and the new pillows you just got, and kind of weave its way in so it all goes together. And then next, again, the asthma and allergies. So this is a conversation that often comes up with clients saying, we want to go to hard surface because of allergies or whatnot. We've heard that carpet, XYZ. So we've been in the industry for 75 years. One of the nice things about carpet is, yes, it traps all of those different fibers and the dust particles that are circulating, but then it easily vacuums up. So it's actually taking everything down, consistent vacuuming, which in my opinion, I love vacuuming carpet. I even think sometimes it's a little therapeutic at the end of a long day. It picks everything up easy, but it helps tremendously with the asthma and allergy issues. So if anyone has questions about that further later, we have lots of education that we can provide about that, but it is definitely an interesting topic since most of the time people think that hard surface mitigates that more. Again, it gives you a warmer feeling. It truly does. You can't beat that. In the morning, you step out of your cozy bed and you put your feet down on a really luxurious, nice soft carpet compared to a hard surface. That's why the majority of the time people will then put rugs over their hard surface, at least in kind of those main sitting areas and bedrooms, to give it a little more of that comfort. That's why we see probably well over half, if not more, of bedrooms with carpet. And again, that living area, that way you can all kind of hang around the couch, have a bunch of people over, still sit down, have that nice comfy workspace and enjoyable living space. It's great. Again, I can't stress carpet enough. It also adds that thermal insulation. It does retain warm air longer. I noticed since I put in my apartment carpet in my bedroom, it truly does. You feel that comfy feeling a lot more so than having, which is great, especially with some inland areas where it does get so hot that tile is nice. You'll even see dogs, sprawl out because it's a cooler surface. But if you really want to kind of help with that warmth and coziness, definitely go with carpet. It's also the softest. So in terms of sound density as well. So you're never going to have an issue with sound, especially with downtown high rises, keep popping up more and more. We always see these regulations of these different sound ratings that need to be met in XYZ to be able to have a flooring installation approved. Carpet checks the box immediately. You don't have to worry about anything. We'll put a good pad down, we'll put the carpet down, and you are good to go. So with that upstairs or in areas with the TV going, it really helps mitigate those sound issues and reduces slips and falls. That's another one why I always stress to put carpet on the stairs. I don't think it really matters if you're a kid all the way up to adulthood or whatnot. I think stairs are incredibly easy to slip on, especially pets sometimes have issues with hard surface stairs, that it kind of gives you that peace of mind that when you are having a high traffic steep staircase, carpet definitely mitigates all of those potential hazards. And I think I pretty much covered the reduces noise, but again, soft, comfy, quiet, you can't go wrong. So with that, we can go to the next one. And types of carpet. So carpet can basically, we could talk about types of carpet all day long. Frise carpets, which are twists and shags and cables, they kind of give that longer look where you can really dig your fingers into the carpet and you have that really, really nice, gushy, cozy feel. Traditionally, as most people can probably reflect back to when shag was extremely popular, it funny enough is still popular and frises are coming back. They kind of put a new flair on them, whether it's incorporating kind of a high luster yarn in between some of the more fun colors to give it a more up-to-date look. I would say it's a great option for a living room carpet in your bedrooms to kind of give you that extra cushy feeling. And then we can go to the next one, please. And then plush carpet will definitely be kind of the bread and butter of carpet. So if we're doing a home where it's going up the halls to the stairs to the bedrooms, pretty much a really large platformed area, plush is a great way to go. It's the easier maintenance. Traditionally, it's more of a dense fiber that's pulled down a bit more. So you'll have an easy clean, just run the vacuum through, but it'll still maintain the softness, which is great. So you'll still have that really cozy feeling, but a little bit easier to maintain than a higher pile shag. And these will come in either solid colors, they'll come in more of a velvet kind of lustered solid color tone, or we can get kind of our Flex, which will have a multi-tone, which is great to, you know, hide if you have a bunch of dogs, to kind of hide the hair till you get to vacuum it. So it kind of goes all the way down the rabbit hole of how many colors you can do. You can even customize colors. They can even have on really the pulled down short velvet plushes, incorporate a pattern to it. So it's a nice subtle undertone. Plush kind of is, like I said, the biggest under the umbrella of carpet construction. And then we can go to the next one. And then a Berber is a loop. So anytime you see a carpet that basically has loops to it, you have a Berber. They're great because they kind of hide, which is, it's subjective. A plush carpet may show vacuum marks more, or the footprints that you're walking on. Sometimes this bothers people. Sometimes they say, hey, that's what I want. It doesn't bother me at all. But a Berber will definitely mitigate the showing of footprints and vacuum marks. It also, in my opinion, is really, really good to put on stairs or high traffic areas. It's just a little bit more forgiving to those dense foot traffic areas. And the Pet Protect Stainmaster, which Stainmaster I mentioned before is the toughest fiber type, even has, if you're worried about the dog and the cat claws pulling at it, it's even warranted against that. So the binding structure of those loops, of how the technology behind when they produce the carpet is so strong that it's warranted for cat and dog claws, whether it's a heel of your shoe picking on it. So rest assured that it is a phenomenal product, very much equivalent to a standard cut pile. And Jeremy?
Yeah, so selecting the right floor covering is, is important. And one of the things that we're going to do at Kohl's with all of our designers is we're going to ask you a lot of questions about your lifestyle. The only way to really know what the best surface in floor covering is for what rooms you want to do is to know how you live on it, what type of traffic it has, pets, kids, how long do you plan on being there. All those things about your lifestyle are what helps us try to provide you the proper floor covering and the right surface to go ahead and fit for your need. And you guys are welcome to come into any of our 5 locations. We have salespeople there that would be ready and willing to help and ask you these questions, as well as our website, kohlsfineflooring.com, has an extremely informative area on each surface of flooring to answer a lot of questions. We're here to help at any time and provide you with that floor covering that fits your need and fits your home.
And to touch on that too, we have clients all the time, and it's really fun. Our designers are dedicated to find the right product. We have clients that will bring in, their paint chips, maybe a pillow from the couch or a cabinet or drawer from their kitchen to kind of really pair together then and make sure that we're looking at all the different options we have. And then we'll bring the samples home. We'll offer in-home appointments where we can actually visit your home and really see kind of what's going on and what we think, either Jeremy noted, whether we think carpet is more suitable or hard surface, and then the color tones and kind of the different characteristics. So we really do our best to pair the correct flooring to the client's needs, either it's structurally or aesthetically, to make sure that you have the perfect floor that you will love for years by the time we have it installed.
You want to show some samples?
Oh, okay. That's why. Sorry, my screen froze for a quick second. Okay, so now we're going to present some samples. I will start with carpet. Again, that's my favorite. So I've picked a few. Now, one thing that Kohl's does that kind of sets us apart from the San Diego market is we have done a really good job for decades of doing our stock buys. So we meet every year at the beginning of the year. We have very close relationships with all of the VPs and presidents of carpet manufacturers. And we spend a lot of time negotiating for exclusive products, the best pricing to offer for stock products to the clients for the year, and the products that we think are going to feature the hottest styles and colors. So I wanted to highlight a few of those. The first one, which we have been doing incredibly well with thus far, is a Berber Pet Protect Stainmaster. So lifetime warranty on everything. We stock 3 colors. I got so excited about this product that I named it after my dog, Sophie, the dog behind me. But it's a beautiful product. It looks like wool. It's soft underfoot. Anyone we show it to absolutely falls in love with it, but I think you can kind of see it has a really nice looped construction that's a pretty tight pulled down piece. So it would be really good for high traffic areas, but you don't lose that softness with the product. And it comes from, this is our stock color Chardonnay. It's kind of a nice beigey lighter color, but it goes from a solid cream all the way down to a tweeded gray. So it really hits that warm and cool palette. So you can pretty much find a color that would fit anywhere. This is another piece that would be a plush. Again, where I was kind of talking about, you can really get your hands into that. This is a really thick piece that has that absolute comfort and cushy feeling that would be great for bedrooms. That way you can really sink your feet into it in the morning. And this is kind of, like I was saying, that bread and butter. You can put something like this, whether it's a gray, which has been extremely popular, to a beige, to whatever color meets your aesthetics. But you could put this throughout a whole house and it will last not only for years, but it'll be timeless with your furniture, with ever changing, you know, it's so fun and easy to change out your pillows, your bedspreads and whatnot. So it's a really versatile piece that does well throughout the home. And this is another one mentioning exclusives, where this piece that we call Finesse was rated the voted the #1 carpet introduction for 2020. Again, it's a Stainmaster Pet Protect. It has a really fun organic pattern. Again, if you come to our showroom, you can see these in person. Sometimes the iPad doesn't show it too well, but it's a nice organic pattern. And this is kind of that happy medium where you don't have maybe a giant diamond pattern that's in your face, but you want to have a little more than that kind of standard plush. This gives you the opportunity to have a bit of a striation in color, that cut plush, but also a little bit of a loop in there. So it adds a little bit more depth to the carpet, which is a fun way to get to that happy medium. Another fun one that I just thought I'd throw in there is a Sisal. We stock a lot of Sisal, we sell a lot of Sisal, and whether it's that classic seagrass look or more of that really nubby kind of rug that you see a lot online on Pinterest. And we can then offer, whether it's a natural or any of our carpets, do custom binding into area rugs. So if you see something that, you know, oh, the standard size is a 6 by 9, but I really need a 7 by 10.5 to fit my room. We can do in-house, a designer can help you coordinate, fit the perfect measurements to your room, whatever that may be. And then we can have it custom bound, whether that's picking the serging color, doing a canvas binding, so we can really tailor that custom rug. And if we do it from something in stock too, or just a running carpet, can be an extremely cost-effective route as well. One more that I wanted to show is, this is just another fun pattern. Again, you can kind of see how you can kind of step outside the box. And then this is a great wool piece that I did want to show. This is one of our designers' favorites. It's very hot with the designers in San Diego, and we are lucky enough to stock this price. So we are probably about $4 a square foot less than the standard market price. We call this Del Lago Cloud. We call it cloud because it's like standing on a cloud. It's a beautiful, soft feeling. You can come into our showroom and take your shoes off, but it definitely shows how wool isn't that scratchy like you put on a wool sweater. This wool feels just as well as that really gushy Stainmaster fiber, with all the benefits of being a natural product, eco-friendly, and all the bells and whistles of a natural wool. And it is absolutely stunning. So we plan on keeping that one in for a while too. So with that, I'll let Jeremy maybe show some LVP samples next.
Sure. We talked a little bit about vinyl plank, and mainly looking more like a wood type floor or wood surface with a lot of grain and some texture. One of the things that we highlighted was that they're now making wider and longer boards. So this is an example of a more traditional 5-inch plank. And then here you have the more 9-inch plank. So you can see it's almost twice the width. So a lot wider areas. And then these are a lot longer products too. So they're going to be more like 72 inches or 6 feet long. What's nice about this particular product, this is from our longboard collection. And as you can see in this particular color, it's got a lot of nice knots and some real rustic grain to it that's going to mimic a more natural hardwood. The nice thing about these knots is that you can feel it. If you see it, you can feel it. And it's got the texture of the grain that you can feel as well. So a 9-inch wide by 72 inches long with an attached pad on the back for that softer construction. And the wider, longer planks are really ideal even in smaller areas. A lot of times people think they don't want to use those wider planks in small areas, but that will actually make a small space look larger. So don't be afraid to use wider, longer boards even in a small space. In addition to that wood look, we also have vinyl tiles that come in more of a marble or a stone or a tile look. This one has more of a marble type of a finish. And these are real popular for bathrooms and kitchens and laundry rooms, but you can run it throughout anywhere in the house if that's the style and look that you're going for. So very versatile looks on these vinyls. You've got both the wood plank and the tile look, and you can put them in just about any section of your house that would work.
Mm-hmm. And then transitioning into hardwood, I have brought, so Cali flooring is a big buzzword on the market right now, and we are a great partner with them. They have high quality products. The longboard product that Jeremy just showed is out of their premier luxury vinyl plank collection. We were fortunate enough to pick the top colors and bring in stock. I picked one today. This is the Ithaca Oak. It is a beautiful engineered oak. As you can see, it kind of has those nice neutral browns, but then there's also a wash of a little bit of a gray. So when gray has been trending with gray paint, gray furniture, gray floors, this kind of gives you that happy medium. Again, wood is the majority of the time a glue or nail down more permanent installation. And while you may not want to go too trendy and go with a gray wood floor, this is a great option of having a brown that will match with everything with a little hint of gray that you can then have some fun with. So this is a timeless piece. We have 3 other colors in the collection. One of them being a really clean maple that is a timeless look, and a few others. And that is a 1/2-inch engineered wood at $3.99 a square foot that generally would retail in the market at about $6.99. So the value behind that is huge. The other one for fun that I wanted to show is this is one of our samples on a herringbone. So this is actually 3 different colors out of the line that they mixed on the sample just to show how you can kind of have fun with it. So you could do the full mix, pick the dark, pick the light, and go single color. But what I like to show about this is a lot of the wood lines and even LVP lines now will offer a herringbone structure, but the herringbone may get overwhelming in your whole home. So you could do the entryway or the kitchen in the herringbone. Then they'll have a coordinating wider plank that you can then run through the remainder of your home. So you can do a snapshot of a focal point in a really fun pattern, and then go back to the traditional format of installing a straight lay throughout the remainder of the home. So there's so many fun ways that you can think outside the box with installation methods, and that's beyond herringbone. We can do fun kind of crosshatch, parquet visuals in certain parts, and then kind of go back to that traditional feel. So those are the 2 kind of 3 woods I wanted to show. But again, our wood showrooms can meet anything that you're thinking of. As I said, we have just about everything from oaks to maples to hickories to the exotic species of your tiger woods, your Brazilian cherries, the Santos mahogany. Kind of the options are endless. And again, we can even offer, if you wanted to start and match with existing wood in your home, unfinished pieces and then stain to blend and match. Wood, the possibilities are endless. And we can also do custom staircases. That's where wood, if you did want to do a hard surface staircase, is great because it is a natural product. If we need a rounded stair, we can do rounded stair nosing to meet your beautiful spiral staircase. Or square nose if you want to do a bit more modern. So that's where our designers also come in handy. They'll kind of get a feel for what you want and then say, well, this is available, or this option too, have you considered this, to really make sure that all the options are presented to you before we go ahead and select the flooring.
Yeah, and then for tile, we have a few things to show too. Since wood plank is so popular, both in the hardwood and the vinyl plank line, you can also get ceramic and porcelain tile that comes into a plank. This is one that's only about 36 inches long because I knew we were just going to be on a small screen, but they also come a little bit longer too, 48 and sometimes 60 inches long as well. These are very, very durable surfaces, very difficult to scratch, very, very hard, and a very long-lasting floor. So if you're looking for something in that wood plank visual, but with the durability that a tile gives you, that's a very excellent choice. A more modern choice are very linear looking tiles these days. And right now, one of the most popular sizes in tile is to do a rectangle, whether it's a 12 by 24 rectangle or sometimes even larger than that. But rectangles are a very popular size right now. This particular one gives you a very contemporary kind of linear look. And this would be a surface that you could do even vertically if you wanted to. Not seeing a lot of the standard 12 by 12, 18 by 18 squares anymore. It's usually going to be a little bit more decorative than that. And here's an example if you were doing something where you wanted to have a little bit of a pattern or some kind of a design. This is something that you could put on maybe in a small laundry room or a small bathroom to give you a little bit more of a punch, a little bit more style to it. And then of course, for any vertical surfaces, which keep in mind that Kohl's can do fireplace, we can do showers, we can do backsplashes out of our kitchen and bath department, but there's a couple decorative things that you can do for those vertical surfaces as well, or something more like this. You've got thousands and thousands of choices when it comes to these types of things. So a lot of different styles in the tile as well that you can use. I think that's all the samples, Louise, if we want to go ahead and take some questions.
All right, great. Those samples look great. Lots of great information. We have about 15 minutes left for questions. So let's get started. Let's see. Charles Mabry asks about sound transmission, I believe in a condo. What do you suggest, wood versus vinyl?
Each of those, so it's funny, that's why I kind of touched on it briefly, is each building will have their own requirements. So generally what we do first is we always ask, you know, A, what do you like? But B, can you send us the paperwork from your HOA? Because sometimes they're more lenient, to which case you can pick a wood and then put down a very simple underlayment or do cork, or sometimes the HOAs will have very stringent regulations where then we're kind of filtered more to, we need to look at an LVP with already an attached back, and then maybe look at like a Regipole system or a commercial sound underlayment that would need to be used in addition to. Again, wood is also a quieter product, especially if you glue down, and we can always put cork underneath. But due to the fine print and all the HOAs, it's kind of a case-by-case basis of what their expectations are for approval.
Okay. Cynthia Sacchetti asks, I recently purchased a condo and have dogs. I am looking at the luxury vinyl planks, Mannington. However, the floor currently is travertine tile. It was installed by the previous homeowner and not professionally done. As a result, it is uneven with some cracks. Can the planks be placed over the tile, or would I have to have the tile taken up? Thank you.
So Cynthia, great question. Technically, yes, the planks can be installed over the top of the tile, but there's definitely some considerations that we'll have to look at and think about before we just do that. If there's some issues already with the tile with some cracks and some unevenness, then the floor that we put on the top of it's going to have those same issues. It's going to be uneven in that area as well. The other thing to consider, especially if you're going to be in a kitchen with that, is that if we go on top of another surface, there's always the possibility of now blocking in appliances or blocking in certain cabinets. We have to be careful with the height. We're now going to be recutting door jambs, and the baseboard's going to be a lot higher. So there's always some considerations that we have to think about when going over the top of that. I think personally, we would always prefer to remove the flooring that's down underneath and go down over the subfloor. That way we can also warranty the product. We can't warranty the floor that was put down by somebody else. So if you had a failure to that floor and that made our floor fail, then that could be a problem as well. So I would say our recommendation is to always pull the floor up, but technically the vinyl plank can go on top of the tile. There's just some precautions that we have to take first.
Charles has a follow-up. This is in regard to the sound transmission. Which is better and how much better?
I think if you got down to technical data, I would say a luxury vinyl plank. Only because, especially, there's also an umbrella of luxury vinyl plank of a SPC, which is a stone polymer core, which is a rigid core, which is pretty much the toughest. Started in the commercial zone. It's more dent resistant than maybe a few others, but you lose a little bit of the sound. With WPC, which is a really soft composition, you get more softness under foot, but it also extremely dampens the noise more, which in my personal experience with clients with HOA requirements, if I select a WPC for them, which pretty much all of them also have attached pads, it will automatically get approved by the HOA. Again, there's a few buildings in San Diego that go above and above, but it'll be easier to get approval with luxury vinyl plank.
Okay, great, thank you. Let's see, an email, a question we got through email. Is hard surfacing flooring, LVP or hardwood, susceptible to fading from sunlight?
Good question. The LVP, a lot less susceptible to that. Haven't really seen any issues where the vinyl plank has changed color or faded due to sunlight. With hardwood, yes, but I don't like to call it fading. We like to call it patina. It's something natural that hardwood will do. As it's exposed to light, it tends to age a little bit. And certain species of wood will tend to do that more than others. For example, if you had an area rug down on top of your hardwood floor and you got a lot of natural light coming in that room for a couple of years, then you move the rug, you could see an outline there of where that rug has laid. However, if you were to leave that exposed, it would catch right back up to the rest of the floor. So with hardwood, yes, that does occur. It's something natural that hardwood does. With vinyl plank, I don't think you're going to see that at all.
Great. Kathy Parrott Bacon writes, let's see, her question. I have some kind of wood flooring I have been told was laid down with glue. It runs everywhere in my house except the bedrooms and last quarter of the hallway. Those areas are all carpet. I don't want carpet, but don't have enough of the dark wood pieces to try to finish the hallway, even if that could be done. I'm looking for the most inexpensive, but not cheap flooring for where the carpet is that will also go with my dark flooring and solve my hall problem. Any ideas?
Perfect. No, that's a good question. So if budget friendly, the route would go, which I always like to kind of relay to clients on the matching conversation, is the matching is always going to be impossible if it's not the exact same floor. So I always say pick something that complements it. If you're able to, I would say bring a piece of that existing flooring in, and that way we can see the undertones of what's already installed, and then maybe kind of pull off of that. So then it's a complementary piece, or kind of stay in the same color family. And then another way to kind of helps, again, get that, it looks like it goes together, but it's not, we tried to match it, it didn't quite work, is change the direction. So if the wood in the hall is running vertical, then we would change a direction when we get to the bedrooms. That way it offsets a little bit more to the eye, where you still have a complementary piece without exactly matching. The other route that we could do is match the thickness of the floor and the species of that wood, and do an unfinished wood that we would lace into the existing and stain to match, which is a commonly done process if you really want to achieve that matching visual. But again, there's so many times where we can have happy clients and outcomes where we pick a complementary product. And then I know you mentioned too that it's budget friendly, that we could definitely achieve that look and get hard surface in the bedrooms for you.
Right. Let's see. Chris Mulligan asks, when building a new house, do you recommend starting with the floor or perhaps the cabinets to match other choices?
Ooh, boy, that's a good question. Really, I think you could go either way. Part of me feels like picking the flooring might be the first way to go. And the only reason I say that, I think, is because with the cabinets, you can stain them hundreds of different colors. So I think if you had the flooring picked out, you could then pick a stain that tends to go with that particular flooring. But really, you could go either way. I mean, the majority of our clients are the existing homeowner that's doing a remodel, and they already have cabinets in, and they'll bring in a door to match the flooring with. So I think you could go either way. Not really. I don't think there's a solid answer to that one.
No, the only thing I would comment on that question too is, I think it's funny because sometimes too, one contractor will say, no, we want ours to go first or second, just kind of based on what the project withholds. But the only thing I would say is if you are doing custom, let's say building and assuming your custom islands and finishes for your cabinets and toe kicks and basically trim that might be a little bit more finicky, or really custom baseboards that then we would kind of need to work around that. For example, in the kitchen island, if we're going to lay a hard surface down, it's a moving floor always. So we're going to need that expansion gap of a molding. But if you had then the custom painted trim that matches that island, we might want to do the flooring first to then lay that trim on top to avoid kind of then a chain reaction of necessary variables. So it kind of just depends, I think, too, what's going into the project. It's not a right or wrong. It just kind of depends upon the components.
Okay. All right. We have just a few more minutes. So if people want to put their questions in the Q&A box, we'll try to get to them. There's an old saying that what's old is new again. Have you seen certain trends that are making a comeback?
Yes, I have seen, actually, what's funny, because wood started going so wide too, that all of a sudden everyone wanted this 10, 11-inch wide plank. And now I see it coming back to the traditional 5-inch, which is interesting because for years now, I think the average has kind of been like a 7.5-inch, but now I'm starting to see a little bit of that narrow come back. It's funny, everything goes in cycles. Jeremy, have you noticed anything else?
Yeah, I was just going to say shag carpet's really coming back and popular. We're not seeing the avocado green or the yellow in terms of the color, but we're seeing that shag carpet really kind of come back and be popular, and probably more predominant in rugs is where we're seeing it. And I think that's because we're seeing so much more hard surface. With so much more hard surface being down, we're seeing a lot of people take a carpet and make it into an area rug. And that's where we're seeing that shag carpet go down on that hard surface.
Mm-hmm. Shag is fun though. I mean, even if you look at this guy, it's a nice cream. You kind of have some different textures in there. And again, like Jeremy said, you can make a really fun rug out of it. It doesn't have to be installed wall to wall, but it's a nice little pop.
In your opinion, what is the most timeless flooring that will outlast the trends?
Probably hardwood.
Hardwood
100%. Like I said, you have craftsman houses and homes in San Diego that have been around for ever, and you still have that oak floor. Again, like I said, my family homes had wood, same floor forever. It's one of those looks, even if you go with a chocolate brown or that kind of honey oak, that you can do so many fun things, especially if now you see all that transition. You pull the traditional with the modern and kind of blend it together, that I think you can't go wrong with wood, even if it appears to be kind of an older color or style. I think we already see it coming back, kind of that traditional oak too in those colors and the narrower width. So you can't go wrong.
No, not with hardwood.
Right. I love hardwood myself, so that's good to know. On new construction, how important is it to get your subfloor as flat and uniform as possible?
Yeah, that's going to be important. Depending on what type of a product we're putting down, are we putting a product that's floating over the top, or are we gluing down or thin setting down to that? But absolutely, no matter what product we install, there's going to be a tolerance set forth by the manufacturer as to how uneven it can be for that floor to perform to the way that it's supposed to and the way that it's capable of. So all of our installers, when they go out, that's one of the first things they do. If it's new construction, we don't have to do any removal. They're just going to put a flat level down, and they're looking in a 10-foot area to see if there's any high spots that we need to grind down, any low spots that we need to patch up. But that's definitely important and definitely needs to be done in order for the floor to perform the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, we're big on prep because that's the foundation. I mean, if you don't have a stable subfloor, even if it's the best product in the world, that's where you can run into long-term issues. or it might be, you know, a quick fix. It's going on top, forget about it. Then you'll run into problems down the road. Whereas if you have a perfectly prepped subfloor and you're good to go, then the majority of that time you'll run into zero issues down the line.
All right, we have time for one final question, and it comes from Robert Gello. Can LVP be used in a walk-in shower, or should we use a ceramic tile?
No. While it is, that's a good question though, because it is very much promoted as a complete waterproof flooring. LVP is A, the majority of the time a floating floor, but B, and this is where there's some technical terms in terms of coding and everything too, where I know plumbing with a shower and a tub and whatnot, you have to have the hot mop and a certain caliber of tile, whether it's sizing material, to be installed properly to make sure that moisture doesn't seep behind into your drywall and XYZ. So that's why showers have always and will continue to either have porcelain, stone, and whatnot, because it has to do with that installation structure. Now, that's not to say once you exit the shower, completely confident in running LVP through the flooring portion, you know, around the toilet, on the outside or areas, laundry, just not directly in the shower. But great question, because that definitely is confusing when it's waterproof.
Right. All right, we are out of time. Is there anything else you would like to add, or any final tips or recommendations?
No, we are more than happy. Jeremy and I are both in the stores full time, our designers as well. So we are so happy to help and answer any questions directly or pair you up with a designer should you have any questions with the future product. And we will do our best to provide the best experience you can have with flooring in San Diego.
All right. Well, and Jeremy, anything else you'd like to add?
No, she hit it on the head. We're here to help, happy to do it. And we've been serving San Diego for 70 years and look forward to continue to do that.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you both. Thank you, Lauren Coles and Jeremy Fratt, sales managers at Coles Fine Flooring. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. We should mention you'll also be available to help with any questions or projects after the seminar. Lauren, you can be reached at the San Diego location at 619-276-5140. And Jeremy can be reached at the San Marcos location at 760-741-1001. And those numbers are in the chat box. Thank you to everyone who joined us this morning. This business webinar will be available on the Union Tribune's YouTube channel under the San Diego Business Connection Seminars playlist. Lauren, Jeremy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you again for watching at home. Have a great day, everybody.